New figures this morning on what's happening to our youngest criminal offenders. It comes after an explosion of ram raids across New Zealand last year, causing significant damage to people and property. Let's take a look back.
It's created a trend, and I think people are out to outdo each other.
Along with our partner agencies, along with these youth whānau, need to work together to make sure that they stop offending like this.
Businesses and the dairy owners, they have lost their faith in police and the judicial system.
We've absolutely heard that feedback from the victims of crime and from the community, that they want to see things happening much faster.
Start getting headaches straight away, you know.
I got stabbed once, we got looted, robbed on a gunpoint, so I have seen the worst part of it. We need to do something about this, because otherwise sooner or later we will be finding up a dead body lying on a retail.
Well, in December last year, the government announced a plan to deal with out-of-control youth offenders aged between 10 and 13. So 7 weeks on, we wanted to see how the program is going. Numbers revealed exclusively to AM from Oranga Tamariki show that 44 children have been referred to Oranga Tamariki by police since then.
We asked Children's Minister Kelvin Davis to appear on the program. We asked him on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday of this week once we had the information from Oranga Tamariki, but he declined, as did Oranga Tamariki declined to come on the program. So we requested multiple interviews with them, decline. ACT Party spokesperson for Child Poverty Reduction, Children and Social Development, Karen Shaw, has said yes, and she is with us this morning. Morena, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
It's great to have you here. So we are interested to know what happens. So 44 children referred in a month is quite a large number, I would have thought. This is just 10 to 13-year-olds. This is really young kids. But we don't know what happens with them from there. We know there are plans put in place, but what does that mean? Have they reoffended? Are they working? What do you think of the fact that we're not really getting any interviews on it to start with?
Yeah, so the starting point on that is I don't really have that information either. So what does that say when someone in a position like I am can't get that information? How is the public supposed to? And I think victims of these crimes deserve some answers. They deserve more than just a press release that tells them this is the solution. They deserve to be told a detailed description of what that solution entails and how it's going to work, and where the accountability is at the end of the day to make sure it does work. What I can tell you about is the pilot program that it has been planned around, which was done in counties Manukau. I asked Kelvin about this at the very end of last year, this particular topic. I'm a bit cynical because when has any government organisation ever been this efficient, where you can get three organisations coming together in 24 hours and creating a complex plan for our youth and their future going forward. And what is going to be missed out when we're rushing through that plan process for our most at-risk youth? They have 52 youth in that pilot program in counties Manukau. The interesting thing that came about that is it backs up what ACT's been saying for quite a long time now. Only 19 of those 52 children were in education. 50 of those 52 children had suffered some form of family violence or abuse, and these kids have gone on to commit crimes. They're coming from environments that are setting them up to fail. So we don't just need a circuit breaker. We don't just need a quick fix, this is going to fix all your problems for the public. We need a long-term solution that gets to these children before they're committing these crimes. These children deserve better, the victims of their crimes deserve better, and we need to have a plan. And I'm really surprised that a program that has been put forward in this press release by the top three Labour ministers now, Kelvin Davis, Carmel Sepuloni and Chris Hipkins, they're not willing to come forward and tell us exactly how this is going to work. You would have thought they'd be proud if this is the solution.
And we will continue to ask them, because hopefully at some point we would like an update, and I'm sure our viewers would too. You say, though, you're cynical about those agencies coming together because it could be rushed through. But shouldn't we be optimistic in the first instance that at least there is some kind of proactiveness happening now?
Yes, definitely. But my fear is that I was just reading yesterday what's happening to these children that are really complex cases that absconder or commit crimes or have a whole lot of issues that normal caregivers just can't handle, and what's happening to them, and they're ending up in motels. We have on average last year 29 children in care in motels every month. The longest stay was one poor young person over 600 days in a motel. You know, is this going to be the quick 48-hour solution?
But what's your solution to that then?
Well,
because where do you put them, you know?
I am positive about that they are trying to achieve something. I don't want to just be negative, because I really do want this program to succeed. But I want to make sure that we've got the right people in the right places making the right decisions. And I can't really comment on that if I'm not being given the information.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And I think one of the problems we've got is that we don't know exactly what happens. And as you said, there's a lot of different agencies, including police and Oranga Tamariki, who come together and within 48 hours create a plan for this child in conjunction with whānau to try and address whatever the issues are. But is the plan stuck to? You know, what are the timeframes for checking in and making sure that it's being followed up on?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I never really heard about this program until the end of last year, and I have got questions for the beginning of this year asking those details, because it's the details that matter. We can have this vague program that we've been told about, but it's the details that matter. And I will be making sure I'm asking those questions when we go back this year, and making sure I'm holding them accountable, and that these young people are actually getting the care they deserve, because they're victims as well, but we're creating new victims, and people are frightened out in the communities, and they deserve some answers too.
Karen, I won't ask you specifically about the specifics of this case, because I know you haven't had a chance to actually read through it yet, but this morning we're hearing about a 10-year-old boy who was caught up in an incident where police had responded to a family harm incident. Police have said that this young person have gone at one of their officers with a knife, and he has been tasered. He's 10 years old. What do you think about the state of our society when we can have a situation like that, which is no good for anybody, right?
Yeah. So here again, we're hearing it's family harm, family violence. These children are being raised, some of these children are being raised in environments that we probably can't even comprehend. And it's a fight or flight mechanism, you know, they're just doing what they know. And we need to get to these kids first. And I think I've said it on the show before, it's easy to raise a happy, healthy child. It's really hard to fix a broken adult. And when these kids are broken before they're even 10 years old, something's wrong with our society. And we all need to step up, and we all need to do what's right. And when we see things that are wrong, we as a society need to also do our bit and protect these kids too.
It's interesting what you said about Carmel Cipollone, about Chris Hipkins and Kelvin Davis, who are now the powerful trifecta, right, at the top of the Labour Party and the government, and they have all had up until a couple of weeks ago, a very close link to this particular issue. So it will be a big one for the election, no doubt. Karen, thank you so much for coming on the program, as always. That is ACT spokesperson for Child Poverty Reduction, Children and Social Development, Karen Shaw, with us this morning. As we mentioned earlier, Children's Minister Kelvin Davis declined to appear on the show, but he did provide the following statement, which reads in part, this will see different agencies, including police, Oranga Tamariki, health and education, develop a plan on a case-by-case basis for these children. No two plans will look the same and are drawn up in conjunction with whānau.